Right, I think we are live. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining me, or good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. Let's shuffle on this way a little bit. And yeah, welcome to a playthrough of 20 Strong. So a few things just before we start. First of all, big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for funding the channel. This is not a sponsored playthrough video, so I do rely on the support of the Patreon campaign to keep the channel going. So big thank you to you. And I've not played the game yet. I have browsed through the rules a couple of times, and I have set it up a couple of times, and I've tried just playing through a couple of rounds just to get a rough idea, but I've not actually played a full game of it. So thank you very much to everybody who is going to be joining me in the chat, who's going to be letting me know what I get wrong, and also helping me with some card interactions, because this is a game from Chip Theory Games, so you already know you're going to have multiple cards with text on. That's going to be a bit of an issue. So the sound is good. Seems a little dark. I've upped the brightness a bit. I did up the brightness this morning, so hopefully it's okay. If it is a little dark for everybody else, let me know, and I can adjust the brightness, but it looks okay on my screen. So yeah, let me know if you want me to up the brightness a little bit. So what is 20 Strong? Let's give you an idea of this. This is very, very different from Chip Theory Games. So Chip Theory Games normally do these very big box, epic games that are really expensive, take ages to learn, and normally take ages to play. 20 Strong is something very different. It is a very small game. It comes in, you've got the base game, which comes with the dice and some rule books, but then you have individual packs. And Solar Sentinels is the one that comes with the base game. And 20 Solar Sentinels is the cards, basically. The dice come in sort of in the core set. But they've also got Victorum, Hubble Markers Victorum, and Too Many Bones. So there are two other packs, and I'll hopefully get to those at some point. But the idea behind Solar Sentinels is... Where's the theme behind it? There is a theme behind it. Here we go. Earth's future. Humanity has harnessed the power of the sun. Harvesters sent to the solar surface have siphoned the stellar body's excess plasma. Sounds nice. Allowing it to be channeled into a variety of groundbreaking technologies. However, the Earth is in crisis because the Sentinels are humanity's last line of defense against an encroaching alien horde, which has set up a base beneath the lunar surface. Pesky aliens. Even now, the remaining surviving members of this elite corps have embarked on a last-ditch assault on the moon, hoping their surprise attack will destroy the horde before the aliens can launch their final invasion of Earth. So that's what we're doing. We are launching an invasion. Now, what we've got is we have... Let's have a look. Because the rules of this game, you've got the base core rules in this pack here. But then you have specific rules for Solar Sentinels. And some of these will change some of these. So when you're first learning the game, you do have to look at both books. But when you're playing a different one, you will throw this away and you will get a different one out. So basically, to set up Solar Sentinels, what we have is we have these stacks of cards. Now, what are these? These are conflict cards. So there's 45 of these conflict cards. They were shuffled, and I had counted them out, and then I just went and picked them up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we've got 3 stacks of 15 cards. Now, these stacks are supposed to be face-up, and these represent the baddies, these alien creatures that you're going to be fighting. Like everything from Chip Theory Games, these are plastic cards, but they do have, and I don't know if it shows on the overhead camera, but they do have a foil bit. So it's a bit shiny. Certain bits of it are a bit shiny. And to answer the question that everybody has, my dice did not smell. I don't know why, but I got a copy of this game. Gilly came and found me at Essen this year and gave me a copy of the game, and I remember opening it up, and I don't remember the dice smelling at all. So yeah, I've heard lots of reports of the dice smelling, but I didn't. I didn't have that. So we've got the 3 stacks, and the idea is that we're going to go through these stacks and we're going to fight these enemies, and then there's bosses. So we have 4 bosses, and these are supposed to be just shuffled and put in a deck here. We'll get to them at some point. I think we have to get through these stacks and then we have to fight a boss, and if we beat the boss, we win. I think. I don't know. We'll find out. We get a choice of heroes. So there are 6 different heroes in the game. There's 3 cards. Each one is double-sided. I have chosen Pike Master Orlo, who has an ability, and he has some stats. So we have 3 stats. We have starting health, starting strategy, starting recovery. And my first question is, and I think I already know the answer to this, these dice, it's not clear what's on them. There have been a lot of complaints about the various dice included in the game. I have similar issues to everybody else with my dice. But these dice here, I found that they're not... I was expecting them to be quite bright in terms of the colour of the dice, but they're actually more like a dark grey rather than a bright white. So I think the numbers are quite hard to see. So what I'm going to do just for today's playthrough, I'm actually going to replace the dice with these normal dice so that you can actually see the numbers a lot better. Yeah, because I'm struggling to see the numbers on those. I don't know what I'm going to do to fix these. Part of me thinks I could just sort of, repaint these with a brighter red and a brighter blue and a brighter green. But for now, we're just going to use these normal dice. So this is my health, this is my strategy, and this is my recovery. If your health ever goes to 0, you die. That bit I do remember. Right. So we shuffled the bosses. We're not playing missions. The game also comes with these mission cards. It says for your first game, we're not going to use them. If we get time to play 2 today, I might bring in the missions. I kind of want to just get the hang of the game in general first. Right. So we've done that, we've done that. Right, let's have a look at the general rules of play to see if it does say how you win. It says, yeah, you defeat a boss. Each deck has specific rules for achieving victory, and if your health is ever reduced to below 1, you lose the game. So we have our dice. We have 17 dice. They're divided into 5 different colours. I've put them in ascending order of how good the dice are. So the yellow dice are not very good. Then you've got the blue dice, then the green dice, then the purple dice, then the red dice. Each dice has a number of misses and a number of hits. And one of the hits is a critical hit. So the red dice, for example, as you will know from Hoplomachus Victorum, the red dice is a hit on every single side, but one of the sides is a critical. Whereas the yellow dice, there are only 2 hits on the yellow dice. So there are 4 misses, 2 hits, and one of those hits is a critical hit, which is 2 damage. And James says, yeah, he's going to leave out the missions until he wins a game. I think that's what I'm going to do. Julian says, better to have the stacks face down except for the first cards face up, so you don't see the next card by mistake. That is a good idea, actually. Isn't the order yellow, green? Yes, I got the order wrong. Thank you, Scott. Should be green next. Yeah, that's a good point, Julian. The rules do say to place them face up, but I was watching a bit of one playthrough last night where as soon as you nudge the card, you do accidentally see the one below it. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to take Julian's advice. I'm going to put the stacks face down, but with the top card face up, so we don't accidentally see. Hans says the same. Yeah, okay, so we'll do that. Other people in the chat are recommending that. I would recommend that. Keep the stacks face down with the top one face up. Right. So what we do is we play the game over a series of rounds. Each round, I believe, has 2 parts. Not called phases, not steps, they're parts. We have activation and then we have engagement. So in the activation, one or more of these conflict cards is going to become active. And what we have to do is we have to choose one of these cards and it becomes active. Now, in Solar Sentinels, and you'll see this later, we haven't seen this now, but some of these cards are orange. These cards are all yellow. And if it's orange, what that means is it's a mandatory enemy. And at this point, if one of them was orange, I would have to choose that one in preference to the others. None of these are orange, so we don't have to choose that one. We can choose any of them. And what we do is we choose one of them and it becomes active. And if it's got a skull icon on, which none of these do, last night I got 4 straight away on turn 1. Then if it had a skull icon, I would have to activate an additional enemy. And you have to keep doing that over and over again until you've activated enough enemies. So for example, I could say, I'm going to take this one. This is just for an example. I'm going to activate that enemy, and because there's no skull on it, that means that is it. That is, and don't have to have another one. And that is the enemy that I'm going to fight this particular turn. And that's the activation step. If it did have a skull on it, then I would reveal the next one from here. And if that was orange, I would have to pick that one. Okay, so next, I'm not saying that I'm going to do this. I'm just explaining the rules for now. The next part is engagement. And engagement consists of 2 phases. the strategy phase, where we are going to commit some dice, roll the dice, and then place those dice on the cards in order to try and deal damage. And the strategy phase actually happens a number of times equal to your strategy value. So my strategy value is 2, which means I get to do the strategy phase twice. So pick a load of dice, roll the dice, assign the dice, pick some more dice, add them to the ones that I haven't assigned, roll them again, and then assign them again. Then after you've done that, you do the resolve phase, where every undefeated enemy will deal damage to me, and I've only got 2 health, remember. Then all of your committed dice, whether you applied them or not, are exhausted, and then you recover a number of dice from your exhausted area equal to your recovery value. So at the start of the game, my recovery value is 2. However many dice I commit, I'm only going to get 2 back. So it is a resource management game with the dice, but obviously you've got dice rolling, so you don't know how many you're going to get. Right. And then you've got items and rewards and everything else. So let's have a closer look at these 3 things. Hopefully you can see them. I don't know if you can see them well enough. And I don't know if I've got the auto. Have I got the autofocus set on? I have. Oh, there you go. So we can do this. I don't know if that's any better. So this is a level 1 creature, the War Spore. In the roll dice step, misses from previous strategy phases are not re-rolled. And it has an instant effect. So whenever I do it, I recover 2 dice. Let me know if that's good. Is it worth me? Is it worth me holding them up to the camera, or is it better? Maybe I can do this a different way. Maybe I can do this this way. That's probably a little bit easier for me. To be honest, that's easier for me. So if you can read that, let's do it that way. Anyway, so that's that one. So my problem now, recover dice. It says recover dice. Where do you recover dice from? You recover dice from your exhausted pool. So if I manage to defeat this on the first turn of the game, what's saying? This one is better. I don't know what you mean by this one is better. This one. If this one is better, then that's much easier for me. So if I recover 2 dice in the first round of the game, I don't have any exhausted dice. So that seems like I'm not going to get the benefit from that. This one. Oh, and also you've got this ability. This ability here. This is what's this ability? This is what's it called? A during ability. So this ability becomes active as soon as the card is activated. So these are not active at the moment, but as soon as the card becomes active, then this ability becomes active. In the roll dice step, misses from previous strategy phases are not re-rolled. Oh, that's bad. That is bad. Right. Oh, and this is how much damage it takes to kill them, and this is how much damage they do. Right. Next, we have the Decaying Mantis. So items cannot be used, which is absolutely fine, because I don't have any items at the moment. And it does have an item. So if we manage to defeat this, we're going to get an item. It's got 5 health, and it's going to deal us 3 damage. So if I don't defeat this, I'm dead, because I've only got 2 health. And the third one is the Lunar Sentinel, which has got 8 health, deals me 2 damage, and it has an immediate ability, recover up to 5 dice and or discard a non-mandatory enemy from the top of any stack. Okay, so I'm tempted to go for this one and just this one. Yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm thinking. Again, because I'm kind of learning the game, if you do have any strategy advice for me, I'm not going to just follow exactly what people say in the chat. I am going to try and make my own decisions. But yeah, any rules help. I definitely would like help with the rules. So that's the one we're going to activate. And because it doesn't have the skull on it, we don't need to activate another one. Okay, so we now reveal the top card. So that is a mandatory enemy. Yes, George, you're saying I have a special ability. So I do have a special ability as well. And my special ability is that if I roll yellow dice and I miss with a yellow dice, and remember the yellow dice, there are 4 misses on a yellow dice. So if I miss with a yellow dice, I can change it to a hit when I'm applying it to a level 2 enemy. And the Decaying Mantis is a level 2 enemy. So actually, I'm really good with yellow dice. Right, so we've done the activation. We now go to the engagement part, which is 2 phases, strategy phase first. So I basically choose how many dice you want to commit. And this is the trick in the game. And this is where I think experience is going to come in handy. Because I've got to commit a certain number of dice. Everything that I commit is exhausted. So you don't want to overcommit, but if you undercommit and you don't manage to kill the monster, then it's going to deal damage to you and you're dead. Thankfully, because the game has this, I have 2 strategy phases, I get to do this twice. So, based on my special ability, if I roll a miss on a yellow dice, it becomes a hit. So basically, as far as I understand it, all of my yellow dice right now will be hits. I cannot miss. Yellow misses may be changed to a hit when applied to a level 2 enemy. So that's 4 hits, guaranteed. And if one of them rolls a critical counts as 2 damage. So if I roll these 4, as long as one of them is a critical, that's 5 damage. If I've understood that correctly. And if I don't get a critical, then I've done 4 damage and all I need is 1 more. So I've got to do 5 damage. If I don't deal 5 damage, I'm dead, because it's going to deal me 3 damage and I've only got 2 health. So this is what I'm going to do. In the first strategy phase, I am going to choose to roll these 4 yellow dice and see if I get a critical. Okay, I did. So that's the critical symbol. These are misses, but because of my special ability, Solar Flares, I can turn these into hits when applying them to a level 2 critter. So that is 5 damage, which means I've done it. Now, if I didn't get a critical on that one, I have a second strategy phase, at which point I may commit any number of dice. Any that are left in here, I could re-roll. So actually, what I would have probably done, I didn't have to commit them. So here's what I could have done. If I didn't roll a critical, I could have said, okay, I'm not going to apply them. I'll just have a second strategy phase and roll them again. Because these are a minimum a hit. Yeah, interesting. I could have done. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Anyway, we've done 5 damage. Now, as soon as you do enough damage to a creature that would kill it, you turn it sideways. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that its ability shuts off at that point. So if you had multiple enemies and one ability was affecting the other ones, then as soon as you've turned it sideways, that's it. That ability is shut off. Time for a cup of tea. It's hard work fighting aliens on the moon. Trust me, you need a cup of tea. Right, so rotate it sideways. If it had an instant reward, I would get that reward immediately. It doesn't. So now we go to the resolve phase. So all undefeated enemies deal damage to me. None. I exhaust all of my committed dice. So they're over there. They're exhausted. I recover dice. So I get 2 dice back. Awesome. Right. And then gain item rewards. So this has that little down arrow on it. Do I also need a biscuit? I do need a biscuit. I might get a stroopwafel. I've been practicing how to say stroopwafel. But I got given some at GridCon, and I still have some left, so I might have one of them later. Right, what type of item is that? There's 2 types of item, I believe. Okay, item rewards. Okay, there's one with infinity symbol on. That doesn't have an infinity symbol on. So, item rewards. Item rewards are gained in the gain item rewards step, which I think is now. Yep, gain item rewards. It's a single use. Right, by placing its card in your inventory. So, where am I going to put my inventory? I don't have a space for my inventory. So let's put my inventory up there. Thank you very much, Hans, for the donation. Just to let you know, all of my advertising revenue goes to charity. That's always been the case with my channel. So for the last few years, since I turned advertising on, all of that advertising revenue goes to charity. So Hans, your super chat, that also goes to the charity. It all gets bundled together with the YouTube payments. I don't know where the charity payments are going for this month. I haven't decided yet, but thank you very much for that contribution. And if you do want to support me directly, Patreon is the place to support me directly. But any YouTube advertising revenue and super chats do go to charity. And thank you very much, Willem, for the educational lesson on pronouncing stroopwafel. Anyway, right, so we've got a single-use item. Now, how many cards can we have in our inventory? The number shown on your strategy stat limits the number of item rewards you can hold in your inventory at any given time. Right, so this is a one-use item. It's an amputator. I can use it to banish 2 dice from your dice pool. I don't know what banish means. To immediately defeat a level 1 enemy. Okay, right, let's have a look at what banish means. I'm hoping we have a glossary. Banish. When a component is banished, it is removed from the game and can no longer be used. Thought it might be. Banish 2 dice from your dice pool, which is here. Okay, but that's still really good, isn't it? Yeah, that is really good. Okay, that's it. Right, that is the end of the gain item reward step. Now we have the cleanup step. So in the cleanup step, all conflict cards that remain in your active area are discarded. So if you didn't manage to defeat them, they deal damage to you, but then they disappear. Now, Solar Sentinels has an extra rule. During the cleanup step, you must choose the top conflict card from one of the stacks and discard it, but you cannot discard a mandatory enemy. So this is mandatory. So I'm going to choose to get rid of this one, I think, because I don't like that one. So that is going to get discarded. I'm just going to put the discarded stuff off camera. Right. That gets revealed, and I believe we move on to round 2. And we're going to play for a bit, and then at some point I'm going to read Dwindling Stacks. You'll begin to empty the stacks. We'll read that, and end game as soon as at least one stack has been emptied. Right, okay, we're going to keep playing for a bit. And then when one of the stacks is emptied, I'll then read the rest of the rules. So what have we got? Let's just press this button. Let's bring this a bit closer towards me so I can press that button easier. There you go. Right. So we have to take this. We have no choice whatsoever. We have to take this. This, by the way, is that skull. This is that additional enemy. So if I were to activate this one, which I can't, because I have to activate this one, but if I did, I would then activate an additional one as well. So we're having to activate Plasma Blight. That becomes our active card. Let's just reveal the next one. And Plasma Blight says, this enemy cannot be defeated unless it has hits from at least 4 different die colours applied to it. Sure, that's not a problem, he says, and it's level 2. So, off we go. We are now into the commit dice. So, strategy phase number 1. Strategy phase number 1. Well, I've got to defeat it, because otherwise I take 2 damage and I die. It's not a level 1 enemy, so I can't use the Decapitator. Not the Decapitator, the Amputator. We've got 5 different colours of dice. The red is always a hit. And could be a critical. Well, we're definitely going to put a yellow in. In fact, should I just put one of each in? What's the chance of me getting 6? Okay. I'm not going to get 6 with this. Well, I might. I might get 6 with this if I'm very lucky. I don't think I'm going to get 6 with this. I'm definitely going to get 2. I'm likely to get 4 or 5 with this. So I think we're going to put the other yellow in. I think that's what I'm going to commit first. George is saying another purple. Yeah. I think I'll put another purple in next time. So we're gonna put this in. This is what we're gonna commit first. Let's see what we get. Okay, well there's enough because I got 3 criticals. So I got lucky with that. That is a critical. That is a critical. That is a critical. So there's 6. There you go. 7, 8, and that's actually 9. So I've dealt 9 damage to it. Yeah, so overkill, but never mind. Clearly this is a day for me rolling good dice. For the moment, my luck is going to wear off, but that's basically it. I've defeated it. I've got at least 4 different colours of dice. All of those get exhausted. That has a permanent ability. So Hoard DNA. Once per round, you may exhaust 1 die from your dice pool to change a hit into a critical hit. Okay, so that's another item that I've got. I can only have 2 items though. I think it's is it 2 items in total? Yeah. Okay. And I get to recover 2 dice. Well, I'm going to recover the red, obvs. And I'm going to recover the purple. Yeah, I'm going to recover the purple. So you don't have to assign all of the dice, but any dice that you do not assign, they have already been committed, so they get exhausted. So it doesn't matter whether you assign them or not. I was just overkilling it just for fun. Right, I now have to discard a card at the end of the round, so which one of these are we going to discard? Now, I quite like this now, because this ability has recovered 2 dice. So we want to keep this. This is an immediate ability, an immediate effect that increases my recovery value. So this is really good as well. That's got an item reward on it, which I'm not that interested in. So I think I'm going to discard this one. That's the one we're discarding. Now, if this is orange... Oh, look at that. It's got 2 additional enemies on it. Purple dice cannot be applied to enemies. Okay, right. So, next round. And yes, yellow dice... Yeah, that's why I didn't recover any yellow dice, because my ability only affects yellow dice on level 2 critters. So we're going to activate one of these, and I think the one that I'm going to activate... Oh, wait a minute. Look at this. This is an after effect. So if this enemy is defeated, banish all dice applied to it. Okay, it's still worth it. It's still worth it. I'm going to lose a dice, but it's going to increase my recovery value. And that's going to be really important. Yeah. Now, I think let's get this early. Right, okay. So what we're going to do is we are going to activate this one. Let's reveal another one. It's the Mortoise. And now I'm going to commit some dice. So again, if I don't defeat it, I die. I only need 1 hit. I don't want to use the red or the purple. The greens are only 50-50. So if I roll 2 greens, I have a 75% chance of success. I don't like those odds. I'm going to roll... If I roll 3 greens, I have an 87.5% chance of success. Oh, it's all the odds. And I do get 2 strategy phases. So I am going to roll the 2 green for now. And then if I don't hit, I've got another strategy phase, and then I can do something else. And in the strategy phase, you can re-roll every dice that you've put here. So I can just re-roll them again. Okay, so strategy phase number 1. I've got a hit. In fact, I rolled 2 hits. So I'm going to apply that hit to there. That does that. The enemy is defeated. So that dice is banished. Let's pop it over there. But this has an immediate effect. It's not an item. It is just an immediate effect. My recovery value goes up to 3. Awesome stuff. That is discarded. It has been killed. And then I get 3 dice back. So I'm actually going to take... Oh, that's really good. I'm going to take back my 3 yellow dice. Yeah, I'm going to take back my 3 dice. Now, this dice is exhausted because I did commit it. Okay. Right. Next round, I've got to get rid of one of these. I'm getting rid of this one. I want to keep both of these. So I think I'm going to get rid of that one. Okay, please don't be orange. No, it's a mess of maggots. Right. Okay, I think we're doing all right. I think we're learning it now. I'm going to engage this one. This is the one that we're activating, the Mortoise. It's a level 2 critter, which means I can use my yellow dice special ability. A flesh locust comes in. And my recovery value is now 3, so we're doing okay. And I've also got this. I need to remember that. Oh, and I've also got this. You may exhaust 1 die from your die pool to change a hit into a critical. Right, I need to remember that. That's great. So, what are we going to commit? Strategy phase number 1 is obviously going to be the 3 yellow dice. That potentially could get me 3 hits. But we need 7. Wow. Okay, but this is good. If we kill this... So, 1, 2, 3. A purple and a blue. Playing the odds, that's probably going to be 5 hits, maybe 6. I'm going to put another blue in. Yeah. I think that's what we're going to put in. Yeah, because if I kill it, I'm going to get 2 dice back plus my normal 3. Almost always roll the red. Yeah, you're right, because I'm going to recover it back. So why wouldn't I? Okay, let's drop one of the blues and put the red in. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. So, and why do... yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, thought about 2 purple. That's fine, that's fine. Right, what have we got? Okay, so we have... This, my dice rolling today is insane. So we have a critical, we have another critical. This yellow one can be turned into a hit. So that's 5, 6, 7. There you go. So we did it. It's dead. Now, when does its ability apply? When a card is defeated, rotate it sideways to track its state. It has an instant reward. Right, so its instant reward is now before the dice are actually exhausted. Yes, that's important. So I can't recover these dice because they're not exhausted yet. I believe that's right. So I'm going to recover 2 dice, which is going to be those 2. And I get plus 2 health. And my health is at 4. Awesome stuff. Okay, and then those get exhausted along with that, and that is killed. Okay, we're good? Are we playing it correctly? Yes, Kyle. I'm definitely not playing Pathfinder. I would like to get back to that at some point, because that was really good fun. Okay, right, I've got to discard one of these. Oh, recover 3. Yeah, recover 3. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. Forgot about the recover 3. 1, 2, 3. Right, so now we're discarding one of these. This has got too much text on it. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that one. And I've got 4 health now. So we're in a situation now where I don't have to defeat an enemy. I could just let it through, unless it's this one, which has got 4 health. Yeah. I do want to increase my strategy because then I can have more items. And this one, if I kill this, gets me a strategy. But it does have the skull on it, which means I have to take an additional enemy. But I think that's okay. I didn't take a yellow because I didn't think I was going to be facing any level 2 creatures. So, I'm going to take this one, and because it's got the skull on it, I have to take another one. So the first thing we do is reveal this. It isn't orange, which is good. If it was, I would have had to take that one. And I'm going to take this one. So we're fighting these two enemies. Right. Strategy phase number 1. Oh, if this enemy is not defeated, banish the strongest die in your die pool. Okay, well, we definitely need to be getting these dice out, though. So I want to do 6 to that. I mean, it needs to do 9 in total. I don't need to. I could just ignore these, let them through, take the 3 damage, and the dice are gone, and get 3 dice back. But I don't want to, because I will lose that. So we're going to try and kill at least this one. Might not bother killing this one. We'll see. So 1. Let's put them in. That's going to be probably 3 hits. I've got this. Banish 2 dice from your dice pool to immediately defeat a level 1 enemy. Now, when can you use items? The red dice. Yes, I was holding it. It's there. Items. Can be used at any time except during the roll dice step. Okay, got it. So, let's have a think about this. I could just use the amputator. Let's try and kill them anyway, without using the amputator. I think. Oh, I don't know. Ah. Decisions. Okay. I have a plan. I'm going to roll these 3 dice. And I think I'm going to be using the amputator. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, I got 2 hits and a miss. So that's the roll dice step done. We now go to the apply dice. And in the apply dice, I am going to use the amputator. So I'm going to banish these 2 dice. Bye-bye. To immediately defeat a level 1 enemy, which is that. And when I defeat it, my strategy goes up by 1. Interesting. Does that mean that I now get 3 strategy phases? I think so. Now, I haven't applied any of these yet, so I'm going to apply those 2 to there. Now, this ability is still active. Oh, I should re-roll the red. Yeah, because the worst it can be is another hit. Yeah, you're right. So I'm just going to apply the 1 hit, and it says in the roll dice step, misses from previous strategy phases are not re-rolled. So that isn't going to get re-rolled, but that is. But we're now in strategy phase 2 of 3. Thank you, Scott, for confirming that. So I've only had 1 strategy phase. I'm now allowed to have 3. So I'm going to sneak in another purple. And there's 2 hits. Okay, so the 2 hits, which means that is defeated, which means I get to recover 2 dice immediately. I'm going to take 2 yellow. Okay, and then those get exhausted. These get discarded. I get to recover 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's got a nice flow to it once you get the hang of the basics. I think we're doing all right. Oh, that should have been exhausted. So in fact, I should take that purple back instead of the blue. Yeah. Okay, cleanup step. And yes, I could have exhausted the mist to convert one of the others to a crit. I could have done. Yeah. Good point. Need to remember that I've got that. Okay, which one of these are we going to discard? I don't know if we're trying to get to the end quick. Because at the moment, we've only got 4 exhausted dice. I've got 3 banished. Oh, I couldn't have taken the extra purple. Okay, thank you. Just undo that. Yeah, I don't know if I'm trying to get to the end of one of these stacks early. I'm going to get rid of this one. Okay, I shouldn't necessarily be trying to get to the end quick because I want to power up for the boss. I thought so. Goremouth. Okay, so next round. What are we going to activate? Ooh. Oh, that's not nice. In the roll dice step, -1 health for every 2 misses rolled. Don't like that at all. Goremouth is amazing with this hero. So, hits on red and purple deal no damage. Why is that good with me? Because it's only level 1. Yeah, yellows are auto crits on level 2s. Are they? Hang on. Why are yellows auto crits? Yellows are hits, but they're not crits. Oh, you mean this? Oh, right, the ability, if I manage to kill it. Wow, okay, right. Yeah, that is good. And yes, committed dice are not in the dice pool. Yeah. Okay. So. I don't know what flipping the boss card face up is going to do for me. But I do quite like this. Although it will kill us if we don't manage to kill it. If we go for this, can I deal 4 damage? I mean, I can. Oh, and I can use the Plasma Blight. Ah, so I can use the Plasma Blight to turn a red, which is a guaranteed hit, into 2 damage. Let's go for this one. Let's go for Goremouth. Scott wants me to zoom in. Yeah, so I think that's what I'm going to do. We're going to go for Goremouth and see what happens. Okay, a level 2 mandatory enemy. So we're going to be taking that next time. We can't discard it. Okay, so Goremouth. I need to do 4 damage. Or not. I could just ignore it and take the 1 hit. But actually, this ability is quite good for me. So, I'm going to choose to commit the red dice. Because I can then use the Horde DNA to exhaust one of these dice to change that into a critical. And it's only immune to normal hits. So we're definitely committing that, which is a guaranteed 2 damage. I am then going to commit 2 blue. And again, I've got 3 strategy phases. So I don't need to do this. I could just do 2. And I might get really lucky. And if I don't get lucky, I'll roll again. That's the thing. You need to use these strategy phases. So first strategy phase, I'm going to roll this. Okay. So. Now I could wait. I could use that later. I could go for 3 chances of rolling a critical and only use it at the end. Right, so we're going to assign that dice. I've done 1 hit. We're fine. Then what I'm going to do is in strategy phase 2, I'm not going to assign that. I'm going to add this, and we're going to go again. I think I'm starting to get this. There we go. We've done it again. But this time, I'm just going to assign that one. And then in the 3rd strategy phase, I'm not going to add any more dice. I'm just going to roll this. Okay, it's not a critical, but I am going to exhaust this using the Horde DNA to turn that into a critical, which is 4 damage. I think that is correct. So, we've defeated it. It doesn't have any immediate abilities. Those get exhausted. I now have this. So, you may exhaust 1 die from your die pool to make a hit on a yellow die. Deal 2 damage in this engagement. Yeah, I think I am. Thank you, George, and everybody else who's helping in the chat. I think I am starting to get it. I am very glad that I'm live streaming this, because this is a game that if I sat down and played this myself without live streaming it, I would miss something. I would forget something. It has that typical Chip Theory Games DNA of you need to be absolutely on the ball and watching out for all of these things that are interacting together. And I suspect there's going to be a massive amount of replayability just in this deck because of the way that things come out, I think. Anyway, recovery 3. Red. Purple. Yellow. And the 6 different heroes. You know, I've just chosen this one. So this ability that I've got is actually really interesting. But yeah, you've got 6 different heroes to choose from. So, okay. I've got to discard one of these. I cannot discard this because it's a mandatory enemy. You cannot discard mandatory enemies. I'm going to get rid of the Crater Creeper. There you go. Right. Oh, thank you, ML. Yes, Hoplimarcus Victorum is a game which I have been meaning to get back to for a very long time. And I've heard that they've released a shorter version of it, which I haven't had a chance to look at yet. But it's on the list. It's definitely on the list. Right. Okay, so next round, I have no choice. I have to activate this one because it's mandatory. Got another mandatory one coming up next. So, let's have a look at this one. It says a maximum of 2 dice can be applied to this enemy. Okay. Well, that's fine, because... Okay. Yeah, interesting. I think I'm okay. Because I can assign 2 dice and I can turn them into crits. I think. So if I just commit those 2, and I roll those 2, right, and my Solar Flares ability kicks in, and that may be changed into a hit when assigned to this. And I can exhaust dice from here. So I've got a guaranteed win because of this ability. But I can have 3 goes at rolling it. So this is strategy phase 1. I choose not to assign either of these dice. Strategy phase 2. I've rolled a critical, so that goes on there. And then strategy phase 3. I've rolled a miss. I turn it into a hit. Because of that, I apply it to here, and then I exhaust 1 die from my dice pool to make that deal 2 damage. So it doesn't change it into a critical, it just makes that deal 2 damage, which is 4 damage, which is done. I think that's right. Okay. Yeah, the bottom fell out of my dice tray, but I figured that works. Because, yeah. So the I-Core of Truth. In the roll dice step, re-rolling unapplied hits from previous strategy phases is optional. What? In the roll dice step, re-rolling unapplied hits from previous strategy phases is optional. Is it not normally optional? Why would you not... I don't understand that. Why would you not want to re-roll previously rolled misses? You then roll all unapplied dice. In the roll dice step, yeah. Re-rolling unapplied hits from previous strategy phases. I don't get that. Re-rolling previously rolled hits. Oh, right, yes. So if you have a hit in here and you don't apply it, you must re-roll it. This is telling me that I don't need to re-roll it. I can keep it. Okay, got it. Right. Recovery 3. I'm going to take those two and that one. I am running out of dice. And now I need to get rid of one, and I can't get rid of that one. So, I'm going to get rid of that one. Right, let's see what we got. Sponsored Seekers. No, Spore Seed Seekers. Oh, that's the one I had last night in my practice game. Okay, which one of these are we going to activate? Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. I lose a recovery. There's a typo there. At the end of each phase, return all commission misses. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, the mandatory one. Yes, that's the one we're going to activate, of course. Thank you. Right, okay. So, the after effect is it called an after effect? It is called an after effect. Roll the 3 weakest dice committed to this engagement. If you roll at least 2 hits, banish a purple dice. Okay, well, I could just ignore this. I could just ignore it and take 3 damage. But where's the fun in that? And I don't get the reward because I'm full on rewards. Can you choose to take the reward and get rid of one of the other ones? I think you can. I think you can discard any of these previously claimed items. I think we're just going to roll the 3 weakest dice committed to this engagement. If we roll at least 2 hits. But this is fine because I'm gonna assign these. So these are the 3 weakest dice committed to this engagement. And I'm definitely going to do 3 damage with this. I could potentially do 5 or 6. Running out of dice. Oh. I'm going to put a blue in as well. No, I've got 3 strategy phases. I might be okay. Right, we're just going to roll these first, see what we get. Well, there's a critical. There's 2 damage. Okay. That's 4. If I exhaust that, it becomes 5. Now, I'll just re-roll these. Second strategy phase. There's another critical. And then I'll use my Solar Flares ability to turn that into a hit. There you go. There's 5. So when does the after effect come in? In the result. So that's defeated. Rotate it, get the instant reward, yada, yada, yada. Then suffer damage, no damage, after effects. So re-roll the 3 weakest dice committed to this engagement. And if I roll at least 2 hits, which I didn't. Yay, what a time to roll bad. So I don't have to banish a purple dice. And I can get the item, but I think I'm going to say I don't want the item. Yeah, I don't want the item. So there we go. So that goes over there, and I'm now going to recover 3. Do we just take these? Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to take 2 yellow and a blue. Yes, after effect resolve, even if defeated. It says brackets, including those on defeated enemies, are resolved 1 at a time. So yeah, you definitely have to suffer them, even if you defeat them. Nasty little critters. Okay, we're going to have to discard one of these. That's quite nice. Hmm. I think I'm going to get rid of... No. I don't like that one. No, I don't like that one. But this mini terraformer is great. After each recovered dice step, you may recover 1 yellow and or 1 green. That means I'm going to get all my dice back. That's incredible. But I'm going to lose some health. -1 health for each die colour that rolls 2 or more hits. And this is the important distinction here. I have heard people on various forums and stuff talking about criticals as 2 hits. They are not 2 hits. It is 1 hit that deals 2 damage. I think I've got that right. So as long as I assign all sorts of different colours, I'm never going to have that problem. So I think we're okay with that one. So I'm going to get rid of that one. Okay, a swarm apostle. So that's nice. I don't get any dice back, but I do get 2 health. That is quite nice. It's going to get my health up to 6, which is the max. It's fairly easy to kill it, but I skipped the recover dice step. So we're going to take the Crater Stalker. This stack is running out slowly. Okay, so Crater Stalker. In the roll dice step, I lose a health for every die colour, each die colour that rolls 2 or more hits. So as long as I just put 1 die of each colour in, then we're good to go. And I probably don't even need the blue. Okay, let's try this and see what happens. Strategy phase number 1. Okay. Right. Currently 2. That could be 3. Then I could make it 4. I could make that 5 by exhausting these. So I'm just not going to assign any of those. I'm going to go to strategy phase 2. There's a crit. That's it. That's strategy phase 2 done. And strategy phase 3. So I use my solar flares to turn that into a hit. And then I exhaust 1 die from my die pool to make that deal 2 damage, which is 5. Or, yeah, the Horde DNA. Either way, that's 5 damage. Okay. They're all gone. They're all gone. I have this item. I'm going to get rid of that. Don't like that. And now we have the recovery step. And in the recovery step, after the recovery step, I get a free yellow and a free green. So there's the yellow and the green. And then I get 3 back of my own choice. That just seems really good. Okay, right. Time to discard a card at the end of this round. Okay. I think I can do that. That's relatively easy to do. I think I can do that one. Because I've got yellow and blue in the pool. So I can just put 3 yellow on it. Yeah, I could do. Oh, recover happens before you gain items. Oh, right. Sorry. Yes, recover dice. Gain items. Ah, right. Okay, so I lose a yellow and a green. Thank you, Brian. Okay, it's not quite as good then. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this one. Ooh. Ooh, what? A maximum of 8 dice can be committed this engagement. Right, okay. Non-yellow dice can only be applied to this enemy if applied at the same time as yellow dice. Okay, well that's fine, because I am going to be applying yellow dice. So let's go for that. Let's go for the Spore Seed Tempest. Need to be upping my stats. What's this? Lunar Blight. It has an item, but it does nothing. I don't understand that. Don't get that. Right. So, we've also not had many... what am I thinking? Yeah, we've not had many things that increase these stats. Okay, so a maximum of 8 dice can be committed. Okay, that's fine. I think we're okay. Do I just put these 3 in? I mean, I need to get 6. I'll put these 3 in first, because I can do all sorts of shenanigans. Okay. So I'm not going to assign any of those. And we're just going to re-roll them again. So strategy phase number 2. Uh-huh. I think we're going to add another die. We're not going to assign any of these. Strategy phase number 3. This is my last chance, but because of my abilities, I can definitely do it. I'm just running out of dice in my dice pool. Well, pretty terrible rolls. So we're going to assign... These 2 are going to be turned into hits with my solar flares. Then that can be... That's a hit. That's a hit. But then I'm going to have to exhaust 2 of these to make those yellow ones deal 2 damage. Wow, I got expensive. I did get expensive. But that's it. That's defeated. Okay, it does have an item. So we don't do the item rewards yet. We do recovery first. Oh, I exhaust one. Okay, exhaust one die from your dice pool to make hits on yellow dice deal. Oh, right, it's just one. Okay, cool. That's even better then. That's amazing. You did say it was good. So I get the recovery phase first, which is a green and a yellow, and 1, 2, 3. Okay. Then we get the item. Do I want that? I'm going to say no. Not fully understanding the... Okay, Lunar Blight has no ability itself, but can be used as a single-use item, which can trigger other abilities. Thank you very much, Carl. Yeah, I was thinking that. It's still an item. Just a bit weird. Right, I've got to discard something at the end of the round. I'm going to discard the Marrow Locust. Don't fully understand it. Did I do my recover? I did do my recover. Right, a Thrall has come out. So, what are we going to activate? I think we just need to activate this little one and get it out of the way. But whatever I put on it, I'm going to skip the recover step. So it's going to hurt me a little bit. So, yeah. Okay. Oh. In the roll dice step, if you roll 4 or more hits, discard this enemy but don't get the reward. That's interesting. Right, we're just going to take the Swarm Apostle. We're just going to take this. Let's get this out of the way. It's only got 3 health. Oh, I could just take the 1. I could just... No. If I kill it, I get +2 health. But I'm going to lose dice. I think... Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for the 6 health. Because I don't know what the boss is going to do to me. I'm going to pick these 2. Strategy phase 1. Okay, strategy phase 2. And strategy phase 3. So I'm going to exhaust that. No, I'm going to exhaust that to turn that into a crit. Done. I get 2 health. I skip the recover dice step. Okay. Oh, zoom out. Sorry. Sorry, forgot to zoom out there. But I rolled terribly. I rolled not enough. Had to exhaust the dice to get the 3rd one. And then I skipped the recover step. Right. So here we have an extra strategy. So I definitely don't want to discard that. I'm going to discard this Thrall. So we're now on to the last card from that stack, and it is the Bevolver. Right, we are short on dice. We are very short on dice. So yes, tank a weak enemy. Just to get my dice back. Like maybe this Bevolver. Yeah, we're gonna activate this, and we're not gonna commit any dice, which means it hits us. We take 2 damage, but then I do recover some dice. So I get 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, I think we've done that, right? We have an empty stack. As the game goes on, you will begin to empty stacks. At the start of any round, after at least one stack has been emptied, I do need to discard one at the end of the round. So I'm going to discard that one. Okay, so we're now at the start of the round. At the start of any round, after at least one stack has been emptied, you may decide to face the boss in the end game. If all 3 stacks are empty, you must start the end game. Ignore empty stacks for all game effects. Cards cannot be returned to a stack once empty. If one would be, discard the card instead. Right, well, I don't want to do the end game just yet because I think my stats are not quite high enough. Why did it go away if it wasn't defeated? This is my end of round discard. Oh, you mean the Bevolver? Yeah, so any card which is activated, even if you don't defeat it, it gets discarded. Yeah, so I didn't do the mini terraformer. The reason why I didn't do the mini terraformer, and this, I might have got this right or wrong, but it says after each recover dice step. And this said that you skip the recover dice step. So if it's skipped, there isn't an after recover dice step. I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Maybe it should say at the end of each recover dice step. But it did say after. So if anybody knows the answer to that or wants to ask Chip Theory Games, does the mini terraformer work if you skip the recover dice step? I'm starting to lean towards the answer being yes, because it says after and not at the end of. But I'm not 100% sure. I have skipped it for this playthrough. That may be right, that may be wrong. I don't know. Right, where are we up to? It is the next round. I could choose to fight the end boss. I'm not going to. I'm going to activate the subsumed Sentinel. The previous round seemed like a misplay because I gained 2 hit points but then lost 2 hit points to recover. I think I did it right. Okay, right. So it's got a skull, which means we need to activate another enemy. And if I activate this one, that's got a skull, which means I'd need to activate a third one. I'm going to take this one. Okay, right. So I've got these 2 enemies. The Gutterfly and the Subsumed Sentinel. This one has got a special ability in a star. That's new. What does that mean? It's a special effect. Right, okay. When this enemy is defeated, you may immediately defeat one other level 1 or level 2 enemy. So if I kill that, that can kill that. But this has an ability that for each die I commit, I must commit all dice from your dice pool of the same colour. All right, yes, Scott's questioning my strategy. Yes, I'm questioning my strategy. My cup of tea's run out, and I haven't had any Stroop waffles. So, do we just go for this one? And then that'll kill that one? I think we do. Yeah. So if I commit the red, I have to commit all of the other reds. It's fine. If I commit the purple, I have to commit all of the other purples. I'm going to commit the 2 blues. Are we going to get 6? Probably not. Well, we're going to commit a green because we get a green back anyway. I'm going to commit this. This is my first strategy phase. Okay. Well, I'm not going to assign that, so I don't need to. What do we need? We need 6. Could have put in a yellow. Yeah, because that's only once per round. Right. I'm going to put in strategy phase 2. I'm not going to have any of these. And I'm going to add a yellow. Okay, well, there's 6 damage. Yeah, got 3 crits. So, that is defeated. And when this enemy is defeated, I can immediately defeat that one. That gives me an extra strategy. All of these dice go. We then do the recovery step. I get 3 back. And I get a yellow and a green from my mini terraformer. And then items. I've got 4 strategy, which means I can now have a 4th item. And that has an ability that I can recover 3 dice. Did I need to commit all the yellows? Thank you. Yes, because I committed a yellow, which meant I should have committed all of the yellows. Okay, thank you for Chrissy. I forgot about that. Yeah. But did I recover 1? I think I should have 1 back. I don't know. Let's just rewind on that. So where are we? So yeah, I committed 1 yellow. I should have committed a 2nd yellow. And you can't quite see the exhausted dice. Ah, yeah, you can't quite see the exhausted dice. Exhausted dice were over here. So what did I take out? Yeah, all is correct. Thank you. Right. So we're done. Which one of these do we want to discard? Well, that's good. Because that's going to increase my recovery value again. I'm going to get rid of that one. Right, okay. We're going to keep playing for a little bit more. But I'm not sure when I feel that I'm going to be good enough to take on the boss. So, this is mandatory. I have to take on. It's a drone alone, and it comes with another additional enemy. Critical hits deal 0 damage. Now, question. This says critical hits deal 0 damage. Presumably that is not just against this one, but it's for both. I think I'm going to take this one. I think I can take both of these. And this increases my recovery to 5. In each rolled dice step, count the number of rolled misses. Take the same number of rolled hits and re-roll them. Ooh! Ouch! Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. So. Well, it's getting tricky now. I have to take another one of these on. I think it's going to be the Lost Sentinel. Right, there's some extra stats. So I think if we can get rid of these two, if we can kill that, then we might be good to go. Although with a recovery of 5, I could probably drag this out a bit longer, get the Solar Stim and go up to full health. Maybe. Maybe. So, green dice cannot be committed. Full stop. Also, if I roll misses, I have to re-roll that number of hits. Gulp. They're both level 1. So I can't use my Solar Flares. I can use the Eclipserator and the Horde DNA. So what are we gonna assign? Well, we need hits because I don't want to roll misses. So I'm thinking this. I'm thinking of committing those. But I'm going to need 7. I can turn 1 hit into a critical. I'm concerned about rolling. No, I think we're good. Right, strategy phase 1. I've got 4 strategy phases. Boom. Right. So 4 damage. 3 damage. There you go. So I didn't roll any misses, so I didn't have to re-roll anything. Everybody's dead, Dave. I gain 2 recovery value. And or discard a non-mandatory enemy from the top of the stack. Okay. They're gone. I should have put a green in. They're gone. I get back 5 dice and a green and a yellow. I didn't put a green in. I didn't want to put a green in because I might have missed with it. Right. So, what are we going to do? We've got 4, 4, 5. Is that enough for the boss? Because if it is, what do you think? What do you think, chat? Should I go for the boss? And if I don't go for the boss, I'm going to have to fight this. And that's going to bring something else with it. I mean, I'm okay for dice. I could also bring the tractor beam in. And this is interesting because criticals can't be applied to enemies, but my Eclipserator means that normal hits deal 2 damage. Julian is saying go for the boss. James is saying go for the boss. George is saying I could do with this that gives me plus 5 health. So I assume when we go into the boss fight that my health is going to go down and that's going to bring it back up again. You see, I haven't read the rules on the boss fight, but Brian is inferring that this might stay there for the boss fight. So, okay, we're going to go for it. We're going to go for the Swarm Ripossel. Okay, which has got an additional enemy on it. And the additional enemy is going to be... Hits can only be applied to enemies in matching coloured pairs. What? What does that mean? Okay, so I can't put 1 red on? Hits on yellow and green deal 2 damage instead of 1. Again, is that permanently for the whole fight? No matter what? If so, we're having that. Yeah, it doesn't say when applied to this enemy, so I guess that is... I guess it applies to both, and not just this one. It's for the whole fight until you defeat that enemy. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, right. I'm going to use my tractor beam. So I'm going to use that to recover 3 dice. Because I'm about to get another item that I wouldn't have space for. Okay, so let's work this out. Thank you, Brian. Thank you for popping in. So, hits on yellow and green deal 2 damage instead of 1. And my yellow dice are automatically hits on a level 2 enemy. So, these. So I put those in. And let's put the green in. Okay. What else? I'll put the red in, because it's going to be a hit and I'm going to recover it. And I mean, those 3 are going to kill that with absolutely no question, because they all become hits and each hit deals 2 damage. This, not sure about. So I'm going to put in a purple. That I think will do for strategy phase 1. I've got 4 strategy phases. So this will do for the first one. George is saying red, purple, 4 yellows and a green. That's exactly what I did. Nice. Okay. Okay, so are we going to assign any of them at this? I mean, I might as well. I might as well assign those 3 to that one. And they're all dealing 2 damage. So that one's gone. And now, criticals can now be applied to enemies. Okay, so for these, I'm going to assign that one, because that deals 2 damage. And I need another 4. But I'm not going to add any more dice in. I'm just going to re-roll these. Strategy phase number 2. I don't think Crater Fly just applies to itself. I think if it did apply to itself... Sorry, I think if it did only apply to itself, it would say that on the card. And it doesn't say that on the card, so therefore I think that is a global rule, and I think George confirmed that earlier. That it just applies to the battle until it's gone. Okay, well there's a critical. So that's 4, 5, 6. There you go, done. That's defeated. The immediate ability is recover 2 dice. I don't have 2 dice. I got 1. But they are now gone. So all of those get exhausted. I recover 5. And then the mini terraformer. I get everything back. Oh, wow. Okay. I've definitely... Yeah. The power creep in this game is quite a lot. And that is my item. Right. So, are we going for the boss? I think we are. Endgame. You can choose to move to the endgame at the start of any round once at least one stack has been emptied of all cards. However, you are not forced to start the endgame unless all 3 stacks are empty. Set up the endgame as follows. Activate a boss. If a boss is already revealed, activate the revealed boss. If not, activate one of the 4 bosses at random. Right, are we ready? Somebody said get the Beat Seeker. It's fine. It's fine. We'll see what we get. We can always rewind to this point. Here we go. It's the mother spork. Or is it the mother spore? It's the mother spore. I think the mother spork would be a lot more amusing. Now, unfortunately, it has an additional enemy. So it says every boss has that on it. Activate the indicated number of enemies from the stacks as normal. Mandatory enemies must be activated over non-mandatory enemies. So we could bring in the Bee Seeker as well. Sorry, the Berserker. Yeah, let's bring in that. So that comes in as well. Remember to activate any enemies of incomplete missions. Oh, if we had missions, ignore additional enemies on entourage card. So if that had an additional enemy on, we wouldn't activate that. If there are not enough cards in the stack, take all of the conflict cards in the discard and shuffle them together, yada, 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 yada. The end game is played according to the standard end game rules. When the boss is defeated, the game is won, even if the boss's entourage remains. So like Too Many Bones. Some bosses may have additional or alternate winning conditions. Right, so basically we need to kill this, and we win. And if we don't kill this, then what happens? Because it just says it's played according to the standard endgame rules. So we need to read the standard endgame rules from the 20 Strong rulebook. Continue to face the boss each round until you defeat the boss and win, or until your health is depleted and you lose. Only the boss must be defeated, even if there are other activated enemies. Right, so you skip activation. The deck will contain instructions. Yep, done that. Skip activation in all subsequent rounds. So we're now just fighting the boss. In the cleanup step, do not discard conflict cards that have not yet been defeated. They remain active and must be faced again. Dice applied to these undefeated cards are exhausted in the exhaust. Right, okay. Okay. So we basically have a series of combat rounds where we fight the boss. So a maximum of 1 die of each colour can be applied in each applied dice step. And at the end of each applied dice step, -1 health for each committed miss. Okay. And this one says a maximum of 2 dice can be applied to enemies in each applied dice step. So I can commit any number of dice, but I can only apply a maximum of 2 to enemies. So do we still recover dice, and we still have rounds, and we still can use items and things like that? I guess. Wow. Right. So a maximum of 2 dice can be applied to enemies, and a maximum of 1 die of each colour can be applied. Wow. I'm still getting a bit confused. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the wording on this. Maximum of 1 die of each colour can be applied, but to a maximum of 2. So no more than 1 of each colour, and no more than 2. But it's each round. But every round I don't kill this, I take 3 damage. -1 health for each committed miss. Wow. Right, so Scott is saying ignore the boss, kill the Berserker, and then kill the boss. Yeah. Okay. So how can I kill that this round when it's got 5 health and I can only apply 2 dice? Now, the wording on this is interesting because it says a max of 2 dice can be applied to enemies in each applied dice step. It doesn't say to each enemy, but it also doesn't say a maximum of 2 dice can be applied. So the wording on this is a little ambiguous for me. If it was no more than 2 dice in total, then I would have assumed it said a maximum of 2 dice can be applied. But if it was 2 dice to each enemy, I thought it would say can be applied to each enemy. So it is... Ah, right. Each applied dice step. Yeah, I've got 4 strategy phases. And this is the same. Right, okay. So, we've got 4 strategy phases. So, we have 4... Right, so you commit dice, you roll dice, you can then apply dice, up to 2 dice in total. Right, okay. So let's just go through this. If I was to select a red and a purple, because I don't want to commit... Well, it says -1 health for each committed miss, but there's no point in me committing any more than 2 dice when I can only apply 2 dice. Yeah, there is no point. Now, I could use the yellow because this is a level 2 creature. So if I apply these, that's a definite hit. That's a definite hit. That can become 2 damage if I want it to be. So I think it's this. I think it's red and yellow. What's the chat saying? George says yellow and red. Ah, George, see, I'm going red and yellow. Very different. Okay, so. And I've only got 4 steps, so I want to be careful here. I don't just want to keep rolling until I've got everything. Although if I get rid of this, I'm not in any rush to kill this. Because this is only going to deal me damage for each committed miss. And there's not going to be any. So I can hold fire. No, I'm going to put it on. I'm not going to overthink it because I am already overthinking it. Right, I'm going to use my solar flares, turn that into that, and I'm going to put that on there. So I have a maximum of 1 die of each colour can be applied. See, here's the wording. This says applied to enemies. This just says can be applied. I think the 2 enemies there should be crossed out. Anyway, so I've put those on there. That's 2 damage. If I wanted to, I could exhaust one of these dice to make all yellow hits deal 2 damage. Yeah, James is asking why would you commit a miss? So committing is moving dice from here to here. Assigning is moving dice from here to here. So a committed miss means a dice that has been rolled, which is a miss. Right, strategy phase number 1 is over. Strategy phase 2. Oh, 2 criticals. So, if we put that one on there and that one on there, then at the end of the apply dice step, there are no misses, so I'm okay. So that is strategy phase 2 done. Strategy phase 3. Oh. Oh. Okay, well, I use my solar flares to turn that into a hit. And then at the end of the apply dice step, I take 1 damage because that is a committed miss. So I'm down to 3. But then this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is dead. Okay, and then strategy phase 4, I can take that, and that, but if I get loads of misses, I die. So I don't want to roll that one. And I don't want to roll that one. Oh, and it's 1 die of each colour can be applied. So I've already got the purple in there. So I'm just going to do that. So strategy phase 4. Don't roll anything. No, I think I'm safe. I think I'm safe. So that goes on there, and I take a damage for that. Okay? Right. So, what's the next step? The next step is suffer damage. So I've done the damage, right? After effects, we've no after effects. Exhaust the dice. Recover dice. Oh, that should be exhausted as well. It's fine. So I get all of these back. Gain item rewards. So I now use this to gain 5 health. So I go up to 6. And then I get this. Is that right? If you don't get to 9 damage, you lose all the dice on the boss. Yeah. Oh, right. So there was no point me putting any more in. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Because I'm back up to 6 anyway. Okay, got it. Right, and now we do another round. And we don't do the activation. I think that's what it says. I think you don't do the activation in subsequent rounds. Because we are now just fighting the boss. Skip activation. Undefeated cards remain. Yeah, so we're just fighting the boss now. Right, so a maximum of 1 die of each colour can be applied in each die step. So we need... Right, okay. Now we've got 6 health. I can change 1 miss to a hit. With this. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to roll this. Strategy phase number 1. Well, there is a critical. There is a hit. I will turn... Excuse me. After each roll dice step, in which you roll at least 3 different dice colours, you may check... Right, okay. So I should have done that in the roll dice step. Now we're applying dice. Okay, and after I have applied dice, I take 1 damage because there's a miss in there. Right, that's strategy phase number 1, done. Strategy phase number 2, we're going to add those dice in. What have we got? Yep, I can turn another one into another hit. Yeah, we've got this. And then once per round, I'm going to exhaust the die to turn a hit into a critical. And we put that there. 1 die of each colour can be applied. So I'm applying 1 die of each colour. I then take a damage for that. I go down to 4. And I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Done. I think. Have I done it? I think I've done it. How long was that? 1 hour, 45 minutes. Wow. What time does it say playtime on the box? Come on, let's have a look. Is it something like 20 minutes? What is the advertised playtime for this game? Because that felt... I mean, yeah, sure, I was thinking it. I was talking to people in the chat. So it's obviously going to be longer, but how long do you take to play a game? I mean, I've heard some people like get killed in round 1 or something like that. So it can take 5 minutes to play. Let me just have a quick look on BGG what it says for 20 strong. 20 strong says 30 to 45 minutes. Okay, yeah. And it's more challenging with the missions. So before you disappear, let's just wrap a few things up. This was the base game of Solar Sentinels without the missions. So if you play with the missions, then there are... Apparently this was easy mode. What you've got is you've got to complete all of the missions before the end game. And what you do is you shuffle the missions and you deal out 4 of them from left to right. Choose 1 mission to discard. So you leave the other 3. And there is a chip which is downstairs somewhere. So there's a chip in a chip holder. And then, yeah. I think you've got to do the missions in order. You must complete missions 1 at a time in order from left to right. Once you complete the leftmost mission, flip it face down, etc., etc., etc. And then at the end of the game, when you are fighting the end boss, each mission that you haven't completed gives you some kind of penalty. Yeah. All forfeited missions count as incomplete and the boss gets an extra additional enemy. And each incomplete also gets an additional enemy. Right, okay, so you've got to do the missions. And yeah, 45 to 60 minutes, says Hans. Scott says 30 to 45. Once you know what you're doing, once you are very experienced with the game and you can play through it and you're not having to really think about it, then I can see that playtime coming down. So the missions are there. I'm not going to play with the missions at all for now because I've got so much more play of this game to experience. I've got different heroes, whatever. So all sorts of different heroes, which will all play very differently. One of them, I believe, has 3 strategy, 2 recovery. Some of them have only got 1 recovery, but 4 health, but all sorts of different special abilities. One of them is a bit like a glass cannon. Something like that, I think. But yeah, lots of stuff in there. Lots of different ones of these, but it's always the same 45. So you will get used to these as you play the game, and you will start to learn which items are going to be really, really useful. And as we saw in this playthrough, there are certain items which are especially good depending on the character that you're playing. So this one was awesome for me because I had a bonus for yellow dice anyway. And then you've got 4 bosses. So yeah, if you don't reveal the top boss of anything, then you do just pick a boss at random, and you've got replayability there. So what do I think about the game? Now, I will be honest with you. Because this is not a sponsored playthrough, I can be as honest as I want to be. Even though I have a very good relationship with Chip Theory Games, they respect and appreciate me being honest about their games, even ones that I'm not keen on. When I was reading through the rules of this game over the last week, and when I was sat downstairs and just playing just a few turns of it myself, just to get a little bit of a feel before today, I wasn't that keen. I felt that there wasn't that much of a game there. I felt I was being driven into choices based on the cards that came out. And this was just my initial thoughts on the game after kind of just playing around with it. Those thoughts today, once we were probably about 20-30 minutes into this playthrough, I have completely changed my mind. Completely changed my mind from what my initial thoughts were once I actually started playing the game, and once I actually started realizing the cleverness in the game and the choices that you have. I very much enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed the game, and I think this is a very good game. Now, I'll caveat that by this is very much a Chip Theory Games game. So on the surface, this might look like a 30 to 45 minute card game with dice. This is not simple. This is not your simple, light, fluffy card game. This is very, very classic Chip Theory games. This is very thinky, and this is going to appeal to the market of Chip Theory Games fans who want something that they can really get their teeth into. There is a whole, although the rules are relatively simple, there is a lot of very specific rules about exactly when certain things happen, as we found out in this playthrough. Like the recovery step happens before the gain item step, so you have to make sure you do that. So yeah, this isn't a simple game. It is simple in a way compared to their other games, but it is a bit tricky with the rules. And yeah, as we saw from people watching in the chat, there are people who've been playing this and they've been playing this wrong because there's a few little rules that people didn't quite understand. The difference between committing dice, assigning dice, how some of these abilities all work together. But yeah. Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention about this is when I first heard about this game, I thought this was going to be quite a bit lighter than what it actually turned out to be. But one thing that I think Chip Theory Games are very good at is they put so much passion and so much effort into their games to create very interesting situations where all sorts of weird and wonderful things happen. And if you think that a lot of card games these days are, oh, here's a name, here's a picture of a bad guy, and here's a few numbers. Oh, and what's it got? Oh, it's got an ability, like a keyword. All of these have got absolutely unique, very interesting abilities, not to mention the fact that they've got items, which are all interesting abilities. So there's a huge amount of effort that's gone into designing this game. Even though it's only 45 cards, every one of these has been, specifically designed in a certain way. So a lot of respect for the people behind it. I get not what I expected from it, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that, as I say, when I heard they were doing this relatively short, simple card game, I was like, oh, all right, okay. But this is quite meaty. It's quite involved. I very much enjoyed today. Thank you very much, Hans. Again, another £20 or €20 raised for charity. So yeah, we're all done for today. Now, this afternoon, I thought, oh, wait a minute, I might be dead in 10 minutes. I'll play another game. And even if I'm not dead in 10 minutes, I'm probably going to get a game done in 45 minutes. Maybe I'll do another one. I'm not going to do another one today. I'm absolutely exhausted, and I've got some other filming for another video that I've got to get back to. But there are other decks available for this game. So I think you could have just bought 20 Strong with Solar Sentinels. I think you could have just done that. I don't know anybody who did. But you've also got Too Many Bones, and you've also got Hoplomachus Victorum. I've not even opened these yet, but I'm going to go and sit downstairs now with a Stroopwafel, and I'm going to open these, and I'm going to have a look through them. From what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, these are very different. This is not just the same game, but with a Too Many Bones skin. And this is not just Solar Sentinels with a Hoplomachus Victorum skin. I believe the gameplay of these is quite different, even though the general rules are you are going through a game and you are fighting a boss at the end. I think that is the same for all of them. Oh, James is saying he did buy Solar Sentinels just on its own, which makes sense, to be honest, because if you don't like the game, then you stop there. I just know a lot of people who back this game are Chip Theory Games fans, and a lot of people like Too Many Bones and Victorium. So I can imagine most people probably would have gone in for the 3. And they've got more decks coming out. So they've got this other setting which they've created, I think called Tanglewood, which I will be honest with you, I have no interest in whatsoever. Having seen the cards from it, I'm like, yeah, no. This isn't anything that really appeals to me. Too Many Bones and Victorium, definitely. But I quite like this one. Quite like Solar Sentinels as a game. So, yeah. Thank you very much to everybody for keeping me company. I know it's a Saturday afternoon, but I only do these live streams because there are people watching. And that's why most of the content that I create is live, because I like engaging with the audience. And to be honest, if I'd have filmed this on my own, like a lot of other content creators do, and then edited it and put it up afterwards, I would have made probably 100 to 200 mistakes. Because that's just me. That's what I do. Doing these live means that with people watching, we can catch those little errors, and it's really good. Yeah, I don't get lonely because I've got you guys keeping me company. So thank you very much for watching. As I mentioned at the start, this was not a sponsored playthrough, so a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters for funding the channel. I'm going through a 2-month period where I'm pretty much not doing any sponsored content at the moment. I'm doing a little bit of work in the background, but most of the videos that I'm doing right now are all new games that have come out from Essen, and none of those are sponsored. And that's so. Even if you aren't able to join Patreon as a paying member, you can actually go to the Patreon page and you can sign up as a free member. Now, that won't get you any benefits. It won't get you any voting privileges or invitations to the Slack channel, but it will mean that you get notified of everything that I post. So it's a little bit like subscribing to the YouTube channel, in that every time I do a post on Patreon, if you're a free member, you will get that as an email. So yeah, so if you're not able to support me financially, you can still join the Patreon and you can still get those notifications. That's everything. I'll be back next week. Next Friday is going to be, well, first of all, Tuesday is going to be Aeon Trespass Odyssey, which is the Patreon exclusive. Also the live Q&A. So the live Q&A for this month is going to be next Tuesday. Then Aeon Trespass Odyssey in the evening. Then on Friday, we're going to be doing Evenfall. There's going to be something else Friday afternoon, but I don't know what yet. But yeah, that's for next week. But for now, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you very much again for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.